in with another topic. So today we'll be talking about baby blues. So a lot of people don't understand the difference between baby blues and postpartum depression because there is a big difference. So, what is baby blues?
Baby blues is caused by hormones right after you have a baby. Throughout your whole pregnancy, you're feeling tons and tons of hormones, and it's no different after you have a baby. It's just a surge. You feel sad. You can often cry for no reason. You start to feel these feelings of anxiousness. Sometimes you kind of feel like your baby's crying and just everything kind of irritates you. So that's what baby blues is, I believe.
I think it's because of the lack of hormones. Like, you have all these hormones going on when you're pregnant, and then once you give birth, like, all those hormones immediately leave your system. Like, so you're kind of, you have to readjust. And the baby blues might kind of, I guess, be your body's way of readjusting to life without those hormones that you had for 9 months.
Right. So Psychology Today says 15 to 20% of known pregnancies end in miscarriage, and a lot of times women are left to mourn, grieve, or suffer alone. So with being by yourself, a lot of times husbands have to go back to work. And in our lovely America, a lot of husbands don't get maternity leave as well. So when you're sitting there with your baby by yourself and your body is going through this large transition, you can suffer from baby blues. And as Mary said, there's different symptoms. Now, the difference with baby blues and postpartum is the time frame of how long they last. So typically they say baby blues can last up to 2 weeks, and if it's beyond 2 weeks, it can increase and then turn into postpartum. So we know postpartum has its ups and downs, apparently. So I know we talked about it before.
I would say for me, mostly downs. And I did I was trying to pull myself out of it, doing whatever I could, which I didn't know what was going on with me. I've never been through anything like this before, so I really didn't know what to do or what to say. But it was important to have you guys there, as you guys have gone through it before as well. So having that support kind of helped, especially when I was getting back into the workforce. I wasn't really sure what people were thinking or how I would be able, like, how I would act, because I was off. I took leave for an extended period of time. So when I was at home, I was okay because that was my safe place. But going out in public was kind of difficult, especially having gone through giving birth unexpectedly and unprepared, to now not having the baby that I had for all those months, and having to readjust to a new body was also another thing for me. Again, I wasn't prepared for any of that, but just my psychological state, sometimes I felt like I was unstable and I really didn't know what to do. So I did start actually going to counseling. I went to therapy, and that was even a challenge, just admitting to myself that something is psychologically not okay.
Right.
It was hard for me to admit that to myself and realize that I needed to seek out professional help. But even getting the help for me was not helpful, really, because I just don't think I gelled very well with the therapist that I chose. It was kind of like having an aunt talk to you versus what I was expecting as a professional relationship. It was more like kind of telling me the same thing my mom said: go to church, pray about it. Like, that's just the devil. But it's like, eventually you have to realize that it's not the devil. This is like my mind playing tricks on me. So that's, going to therapy was kind of interesting for me.
So I know a lot of people, and our culture don't go to therapy. But the one thing is, and look out, of course, for our video on postpartum, but when it comes to baby blues, with it not lasting so long, sometimes it can have an adverse effect. And it can also affect bonding when it comes to you and your baby. Baby blues comes with miscarriage, and it comes with full-term babies. Because I know one thing for triggers were for all of us, we're seeing baby items, seeing other babies.
Seeing pregnant women was hard.
Right. And so all of those triggers can lead to having baby blues. And I know, Mary, you had it bad with the phantom kicks.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because I had twins that was carrying inside of me, so it was a lot going on in my stomach. So after I lost the twins, literally, I can't even tell you how many times a day I would literally feel like kicks. And it wasn't like, let's see, let me try to describe it. So it wasn't like full on like hard pressure, but imagine somebody like tapping your belly and constantly feeling that. And it wasn't like, it didn't last like all day, but it would come and go. But it was enough to be like, whoa, like, what is that? So that was really a trip, because I would feel it, and then I would have to like mentally tell myself, no, there's no way in the world that they could literally still be inside you. They're, you know, they're not there. But also going back to baby blues, that's what I experienced. I didn't experience postpartum after I had my daughter, but the baby blues that I had, it was bad enough to the point where I was calling my friends and letting them know, like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know why I'm crying, you know, and I didn't physically harm my child or anything like that, but there were moments where I was like, yeah, I just need to give my child to my husband, just take her away from me, like, right now, because I'm scared about what I may or may not do, and I don't know what I'm feeling, and I don't know what I'm capable of, so you have to realize when you have a moment like that and just accept help.
How were you able to kind of get out your own head? Or like stop the negative thoughts that you were having?
Prayer. I did have to talk to people around me. I'm the type of person, when I'm going through stuff, I can either be really closed off and not want to talk to anybody, not want to accept help, not want to, you know, because I have this mentality of, I can do it, I can, you know, I'm strong, I'm independent, you know, I can do things on my own, or I can get to my breaking point and just say, oh my gosh, I can't do this, like, I need help. So just really having a strong support system near me and talking about it, that's one thing, like, when I really got to my low points, I had to like say something about it, because if I didn't, I mean, there's no telling what would have happened. But when you have those thoughts, you know it's not you. Yeah. You know, you know yourself enough to know that it's not you. So there is that you that's still in there that's like, no, I gotta like get out of this.
Right. You kind of, well, in my experience, I had to kind of fight to get that me out, because my mind was playing tricks on me. It's kind of like, I know the real me is in there somewhere, but you have to dig for it.
Yeah. Well, I know that an article in fitpregnancy.com stated that 70% of new moms will suffer from baby blues. And I know the one thing that I've heard, I've known, and experienced myself is that a lot of times people around you don't know how to deal with your baby blues. Because honestly, it's nothing that anybody else can do but support you. But a lot of times, culturally and non-culturally, people will tell you to get over it. Pray about it. Go to church. Just snap out of it. Like, as if it's something that you can snap out of. And it's something that you do have to deal with day to day, because there are days, I know when I had my daughter, I experienced postpartum, but after my loss, I had baby blues really bad, because I would see a baby bottle, like you said on the ads in our previous video, ads on Facebook will pop up because that's what you were liking and subscribing to before. And I could see a baby bottle and burst into tears. But then another moment, I could see a baby and be hopeful. And like, okay, that's going to happen for me. And I'm going to be so excited. And you're like, it's almost like you have bipolar disorder because 1 minute you're like extremely high and you're like hopeful and joyous and like, it's going to happen for me. I can support my friends through pregnancy. Because I know one thing with Lanita, when she had her second announcement, I just had a loss, and I remember you telling me,
which is why I didn't want to tell you.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's like, how do you deal with supporting a friend that just lost, and you were happy because you just had a loss too?
The second time around, I think I was really scared when I had just found out like a week, and then you came to me and said that you were expecting again.
Yeah.
But you didn't want to tell me because you didn't know how I was gonna feel because I hadn't told anyone.
I totally forgot about that.
And I know Renee had recently had a loss, so I was trying to hold out on telling her because I know she's still struggling or going through that, and I didn't want to kind of overshadow her feelings with what I was going through. So it's kind of tough because you never know how someone's going to respond or react. You never know what someone else's triggers or state of mind can be.
Right.
So me trying not to contribute to that, I just left it alone. But eventually she found out.
I did, and I was like, listen, I'm that friend that I don't care what I'm going through, I will always support my friends in whatever they have going on. And I know with my second loss, it happened, actually my first loss, it happened during a time where Mary had lost her husband the first week of August, or the second week of August. And my loss happened the following week. And it just, that month of August was just not the month for us. But it was like no matter what I was going through, I still had to make sure that I had to continue to be a mom, a wife, a friend, a coworker, a worker. Like I had to still continue on with life, which is the hardest part. Because when you lose something, you lose a part of you. And losing a part of me, I felt like, what's the point of doing anything right now? You don't want to sit in bed, but you want to sit in bed. You don't want to cry, but you cry. It's just going through it no matter what. You just have to go through it. And the one thing I can say is that with postpartum, with baby blues, the most important thing is know when to get help. Because a lot of times mothers sit and they suffer in silence. Suffering is bad enough, but suffering in silence is even worse. And if no one knows that you need help, or that you feel like, I'm going to strangle my baby, and there's a lot of times we hear stories in the news where mothers have driven their children off of bridges or drowned their babies. That's a part of postpartum, and that's a part of baby blues where people feel like, I'm losing it. Know when to reach out, know when to get help, know when enough is enough, and understand that you should not be ashamed because you're feeling these emotions. You should not be ashamed to say that you want to do physical harm. It's not you. It's hormones. It's a literal imbalance in your body that you're going through that is literally unexplainable. So know when to get help.
Luckily, after I had my daughter, I was able to have a nurse come in, visit me, and if anybody knows about that, she will come and check on you, the mom. She'll check on your baby, check heart rate, all those things, and also ask you questions about how you're feeling, how are you coping with the baby, are you having issues with anything, and then she will also link you to resources. Now, I know this is not something that is available to everybody because I have heard the same thing from you. I don't think that was the same.
It wasn't. So for me, when I had my daughter, I did not have the option to have a nurse or a doula come in. My resources that were given to me, and check out my story time, it will be on there, but I didn't know I was pregnant with my daughter. So everything came to me at one time of, one day I am a college student living life, and the next day I'm a mother. And so I had to get all of my resources at one time. And the one thing that I know was provided to me was WIC.
Okay.
And as well as insurance. But again, in every state and every county, insurance is different. Every person, no matter your income, insurance is different. But definitely, I know that, especially in the field that we work in, you can always call your insurance company and see what's available to you. And also, leaving the hospital, they can provide you with more. Ask the questions that you need to ask to get what you need.
Right.
And there are also helplines as well. For different hospitals and different insurance companies. A lot of agencies, I know with our job, Lanita, you were able to go through our employee, what is that called?
You mean I didn't go through the crisis assistance line. Is that what you're asking about?
No, so there's a plan for employees that we can use. So where you got your
I went through regular health insurance. They do have, our job does have a separate I guess it's not a crisis line, but it's a resource that the employees could use when they need grief counseling. It's over the phone. If they need a travel agent, there's a resource for that. It's a wide range of things that they offer. I didn't go through them. I went through the regular insurance and kind of found a therapist on my own. But the good thing about that therapist was that there was no copay. It was 100% covered.
Okay.
So that was a blessing.
Yeah.
But I can get into my therapy story in another time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot. But use the resources that are available to you. Reach out. Do your own research if you really don't know where to begin. Google is the best search engine ever.
Right.
They pretty much have everything you can find. But I have a question for you guys. What would you consider to be some of your triggers following pregnancy or following your loss? What were some of your...
You got enough time?
Just a few of them.
For me, after the twins, going out into a restaurant, the same restaurant, and seeing or hearing a baby crying. I remember actually, this is not funny, but it's so vivid in my mind, that me and my husband, we went to Red Lobster before when I could finally eat regular food. We went to Red Lobster and he promised me, so I was like, yeah, you promised me that we could go to Red Lobster, so I'm gonna eat. And so we had an awesome time, and then after we lost the twins, we again went to Red Lobster, and it was very short. It was pretty short after we lost them. And I remember it was crazy because we were in the restaurant, and I can't remember if we had ordered our food yet, but we were sitting there and literally we hear and see a baby crying, and then I'm just looking at him and I'm like, I just lose it. Wow. I just start crying, and literally it was so bad to the point where I was trying to hide my face because I saw everybody else started staring at me, and I didn't want to be draw too much attention, because I know it was that bad to the point where people were like, she's in a restaurant, why is she crying? So I had to cover my face and just but my husband was really, really supportive at that point in time. He knew exactly how I was feeling because he felt the same thing. He just held my hand. He tried to console me, and I think from there it got better, but we didn't stay there very long because it was just really emotional.
Right. I know for me, seeing a belly was the hardest thing for me. So again, with not knowing I was pregnant with my daughter, I completely missed the experience of having a belly. And so that's a hole for me that I want filled. And so every time I saw a belly after that point, it was just
you want that.
I want that. And I think that was the number one hardest thing for me. And the crazy part was, at the time, our HR director was pregnant. And so going through a loss and having to go to her and sit and look at her belly, the greatest thing was, because of the type of person I am, it's a lot easier to deal with, but it still was difficult. Seeing babies in public wasn't that hard. the bellies were hard, and first of all, baby items in general.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up baby clothes.
Baby items in general make you cry.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not pregnant. But when I tell you, after a loss and seeing a onesie, I've never been that emotional over a onesie before.
Right.
It's crazy. Like, it really is.
Yeah. So I think, honestly, this is an issue that, you know, you have to be prepared for. You have to expect that it's going to come, it's going to happen. And if you are trying to have a baby, or you're considering having a baby, or you just don't know, and you know, you do end up becoming pregnant, know that you have resources out there to prepare yourself and to help you. You are not alone. This was an awesome topic that we covered today. We honestly would want to know how you feel about this topic. Did you have baby blues? Did you have postpartum? Also, do you have any advice for any other future moms or any women that are actually pregnant right now? Just leave a comment down below and let us know, because we really are interested to hear what you guys have to say. So we're gonna take care now.
Bye. Thanks for watching our video.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Follow us on all our social media. The links are down below in the description box.